Hi, gay is not sin, and Jesus isn't asking the gay person to change and be straight. Hi, everybody. I'm glad I'm getting a lot of people coming viewing some of these programs I got here on YouTube. I looked at one setting. It was already 50,000. That's pretty good, I think. But you know, it's kind of interesting. I am getting more and more comments and email from people that still seems to think that all you need to do is say gay is sin or it's in the Bible. Now, gay is not sin, and that is not in the Bible. It does not say gay is sin. There are 14 verses in the Bible that homophobes use to condemn gays. I didn't make this up. This isn't a recent thing. It started about 700 years ago, give or take a few decades. The Catholic Church, a few elite leaders that were quite powerful, had dilemmas when people came into power, leaders that didn't agree with them, that didn't have the same ideals. And so they were trying to figure out how they can get people to be kicked out of power. Well, today we know one way is to create scandals. And the best way to create scandals is to say, they did something we don't like. Today it's usually something to do with sex. And in all time, it's basically something to do with sex. So these few powerful Catholic leaders went through the scriptures and they came up with about 12 verses that has some kind of representative to male sex. And common knowledge was that there were temples and people went to the temple, fertility, prostitutes. There's lots of things involved in coming up with these 12 verses in those days. And very few Catholics can actually read the Bible. This was something that you had to do what the Catholic Church said. You have to do what your priest says. You know, you don't have to say. If they say this is what it means, this is what you believed. Dire consequences can happen in the Catholic Church 700 years ago if you didn't go along with what your heads in your Catholic Church told you. When they got up there to preach to you, you had to listen and you had to believe them. You know, it's almost like God was speaking to you. And boy, if you didn't adhere to them, not a pretty scene. And so when they began to say that these leaders are committing one of these 12 verses, then this is bad, it's a scandal, let's impeach him. And this is why the anti-gay verses that homophobes use today were created. Now, lots of you may say that the Bible is much more than 700 years ago. Well, yes, you're right. The verses are perfectly fine if you translate them or interpret them the way that they were written and meant. But if you believe these verses mean something different, that's not the Bible. That's your own belief. And if you're told all your life that these 14 verses means gay is sin, it's just like learning your language. You don't know how it all started. All you know is you speak perfectly fine English, right? And so you speak perfectly fine homophobe because that's all you know. And you don't know where it came from. Just like your language, where did it came from? You remember learning some of it in school. You know, you had to add your vocabulary list and read the meanings. But before that, you could speak English pretty well. But you didn't. You just spoke it. It was there. You don't have memory of the times when you got your first word, when you said dada for the first time. You don't remember that. And so, you don't remember when you started thinking gay was sin, because it happened so long ago in your life. And everybody's been teaching the same thing. And you grow up with this. And you don't bother to study. You read a verse, and for you it has to do with some sort of male, so therefore you say it's all 650 million gay people. And these Catholics, 700 years ago, did create this doctrine so that they can create scandal to purge people from power. It took 100 more years before the Protestants adopted it, and it took till 1850 to add the extra 2 verses for 1 Corinthians 6:9 and Timothy 1:10. That arskenekotes. Arskenekotes is a Greek word that Paul wrote. The following 1,600 years, that word arskenekotes was used 76 times. This means that you could go and you could find documents of some writer using that word. 76 times in 1,600 years, and this is the word, this is a verse that you just cannot handle yourself. You just got to say it proves gay as sin. And each of these 76 times did not say gay was sin. They didn't even talk about gays. It's documented. You can go look for it. You can go to my site and find those. Gay is not sin. People, if you want to condemn gays, you need to go to the Bible and find boy meets boy. They date. They fall in love. They get married. Just like boy meets girl. They date. They fall in love, get married. If you could find this kind of a gay relationship in the Bible, then you have all rights to condemn gays. But you can't. If you don't know Jesus right now, turn to him and say, Jesus, I believe that you're the Son of God, and that God rose you on the 3rd day. A simple prayer gets you saved. Read the King James Bible. If you have a pain anywhere in your body, touch that right now. In the name of Jesus, be healed. See you next time.